guys. Okay, this isn't going to be a very long video at all. I am, though, however, planning on doing either a tribute to Nicole Brown Simpson and including some beautiful pictures and things like that and things about her life. Possibly a video on OJ and Nicole and some different aspects of their relationship. So I am planning on getting around to that at some point. But in this video, it's going to be kind of short, but I want to make some valid points that I think are important to bring awareness to again. Now, some of you may know this stuff already, but if you're not familiar with the narcissistic personality, the high pathological narcissistic personality. Now, I have discussed before in other videos, there are some differences. We all have some narcissism, and some narcissism is healthy, but it's when it goes rogue and people start doing very hurtful things to others and not having very much empathy, okay? And all of these tactics and things that they do, and it starts going pathological. That's when it's bad, okay? That's what I'm talking about when I say narcissist or pathological narcissist. All right. I saw a comment earlier, and this really was on my spirit immediately to go ahead and talk about it in a short video. I saw a comment earlier. It was on another video here on YouTube where a woman was doing a reading of some kind, and she was discussing OJ Simpson and Nicole and the Brown family. Now, I've seen this circulating quite a bit that some people were saying, that Nicole was using OJ. There were all kinds of excuses and different things flying around back when the trial was going on. And people, some people were saying, oh, she was just a gold digger. She was a home wrecker. She was trying to get money out of OJ, or she was on drugs and trying to get drug money, or that the mafia was coming for her, or that the whole entire Brown family they really didn't like OJ. They were racist, but they tolerated him, kept him around, and constantly got him to pay their way and pay for things. Okay. We hear a lot of this stuff. Now, I'm just going to say this. I wasn't there, neither were any of us, and so we don't really know the 100% exact truth of how they conducted their business, being around each other and being family all that time. He and Nicole had a 17-year relationship. So they were all an extended family, and they all spent a lot of time together, okay? And here's the thing, though. In this other video that I saw earlier, the woman was talking about, how people think that possibly the Brown family was using OJ for his money, and they were constantly getting him to pay for things and all of this stuff. And I was just like, okay, here's what I want to get across to everybody. It is so unfair, and I can't stress it enough, the stuff that a narcissist gets away with. And when I say narcissist, I don't have to explain it again. I've already broken down what that is. Pathological narcissist versus healthy narcissism. I don't mean somebody that's just in their confidence and staying motivated and having a bad day. They might get a little pissy sometimes. I don't mean that at all. When I'm talking pathological narcissist, okay, I'm talking about someone who typically ends up being an abuser. They always end up being an abuser in some way, shape, or form, because they have to feed that ego constantly, and it always ends up hurting somebody somehow, some way. And they have to cover their lies and their constant pathological lies, so that they're going to do swervy things in that regard. And they have to keep control of people at all times. It's a big deal to them. So that's going to cause them to do swervy things. So you get what I'm saying? That's what I mean by that. They usually end up being abusive, narcissistic abusers, we call them. And that's in many forms. And it doesn't just have to be hitting somebody. It's not just violence. That's a horrible one thing that can happen. But in no way is that the only thing that is considered abuse or narcissistic abuse. There are so many other forms that they abuse in. And that's how they get away with it, a lot of them. A lot of them will never hit you, will never raise a hand to you, might not even ever raise their voice to you, but they can be some of the most abusive mugs on the planet. Psychological abuse and emotional torment to the point where it drives you almost out of your mind, to where you don't look forward to waking up each day, to where you're scared to show any joy or happiness or do what you normally do in life, or go to work or make money or be happy about anything. It's going to affect everything you do. It starts to affect your ability to be a mother or father or parent. It affects you in your whole life. So psychological torment from narcissistic abuse can be just as bad. They smear your name, your reputation. They lie. Oh my God, the lies. They lie on you. And I'm going to give y'all a few insights into what I have personally experienced and what some of the narcissistic types do, so that you can apply this anytime you are reading a crime story or a news story where there has been someone involved that took the lives of innocent people, or whatever the hell the case is, and they are known to be a narcissist, well known to have that narcissistic personality that's controlling, violent, and or not violent. Chris Watts was never violent to his wife Shanann. However, I know there was a lot of psychological and emotional abuse going on in that situation behind closed doors before the violent, vicious murders ever happened. Okay, so what I want to get into is that oftentimes a very high-level pathological narcissist like OJ Simpson, okay, will give you things on purpose. Now, follow me here. Now, we all know Nicole was probably no angel, probably not perfect, just like Shanann Watts. None of us are perfect angels. But these women did absolutely nothing to deserve what they got in their life. To have their lives slaughtered viciously and taken. Okay? And so, as far as OJ, when he and Nicole got together, it's plain and simple. It's as clear as day to those of us who are experienced and trained. Some of these other people out here might not know and might run their mouth about different things, but to those of us who are trained, we have been through narcissistic abuse, or some of us grew up in trauma. Some of us have been through narcissistic relationships. We've got a little experience and knowledge and wisdom behind us. We can see shit as clean, as pure, as clear as day. It's classic. He was 30 years old. He was getting ready to retire from his football career. His whole life was set from his football career. He got to get his glory. He got to accomplish his goals. He had already had 5 children, life. Nicole was a child, just starting her life out. She was 17 years old when they met, while she was hosting in a night spot or nightclub or dinner, nighttime dinner place, whatever. Bar and grill, something like that. And OJ began to pursue her. Now, am I excusing the fact that although she was young, 17, 18, I don't think I don't think they moved in together until she was about 18. But am I excusing the fact that OJ was married and the young Nicole decided, I don't care, I'm going to go with him anyway, I like him? No, I'm not excusing that. But do I think that this woman had a bad heart, a bad soul, that she really just wanted to wreck people and do cruel things to? No, I don't. I think that she was a young, naive girl, and OJ wanted it that way. Okay? After Nicole's death, what does OJ do again? After Paula Barbieri dumps him, OJ is with a woman named Christy. I just found this out this week. Christy and he were together for almost 13 years. And guess how old she was when they got together? Even though OJ was into his 50s by this point, or getting close to it. This woman walks up to the site of the Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman murders, curious after the deaths, after the trial is over, after OJ's been acquitted. She's curious and sightseeing. She's 19 years old, this Christy. And actually, she and OJ get together and spent 13 years together. She was with him through all of the jail sentence later on and for the armed robbery and everything. And she went public in some interviews some years back. Christy, I didn't get her last name. Christy, look it up. OJ's last girlfriend. 19-year-old female that looked very similar. Although, I'm sorry, Nicole was stunning. And to me, there just was no replacing Nicole just like that. This woman had she had blue eyes, I think, and sandy hair. But at a distance, she favored the look, the coloring, the hair of Nicole. But Nicole was a damn stunner, breathtaking. But OJ, Christy went on to talk about how OJ was obsessed, how he wanted her to dress like Nicole, always comparing her to Nicole. Okay, I'll finish that up at the end of this video. Let me get back to where I started from, okay? But I just wanted to mention that, okay? And we'll wrap it up with that at the end. So we got all this going on, right? These certain patterns and tendencies, okay? And same thing with Nicole. OJ, married before, kids and everything, whatever, what have you. It's been, common knowledge that he cheated on that first wife with other women. He was cheating on her before he ever met Nicole, okay? So here we go. Nicole's this young girl. And a lot of times, I am not excusing what Nicole did, but I know as a young woman at 17 or 18, I was not thinking like I'm thinking now. I was not thinking clearly. And it wasn't that I was malicious. It was that I was just carrying out how I personally was raised in trauma and bad patterns and being naive and, just running by the seat of my pants and low self-respect and, I just want to be loved and I just want to be, that's how people are at that age, which Nicole, as far as I know, wasn't raised in trauma, but you get what I'm saying. So the narcissist will come in. He is looking for someone to groom, condition, and control, and the perfect match for that, the perfect target. Well, we all know OJ has a type and a target. Even though he was married to a woman of his own race the first time, clearly as the years went on, OJ developed a type and a target because he repeated that pattern after Nicole was gone. So, and a lot of times a narcissist like that, they find a target like that, and he insisted that she move out from her male roommate within weeks or months of them starting to see each other. And he insisted on putting her up in an apartment. Control. Absolutely. And here's this young girl at 17, 18 years old being fucking overwhelmed. Dazzle, razzle, dazzle. Money, fancy things, cars, power. Here's this gorgeous older man with all this stuff. Are you fucking kidding me? But I believe she genuinely fell in love with him too. Absolutely, I do. Okay? And so that was that. But still, to me, she was a child. She had the fucking mind of a child. A young girl. And it is very easy to be taken over by the narcissists like that. They can be quite charming. And, and oftentimes it's not that they are fooling you or you're just falling in love with the charm and the dazzle and the razzle. But a lot of times at that age you are. You don't have the same emotional depth and wisdom and love that you would have as you get into your 30s and 40s at that young of an age. It has to take time to develop that. Nonetheless, she was all caught up in it, and they had this bomb-ass chemistry. They were two beautiful, stunning people, and they went on to have a beautiful family as well, okay? Do I think that it's right what OJ did to his fucking first wife? No, I don't. Leave your first wife behind and your children behind and go out here and start messing with some younger girl. because you got fucking issues? No, I don't think it was right at all. Okay? But we cannot blame Nicole for that. We can't blame the first wife for that. That's OJ issues. That's OJ's problems, okay? And yeah, Nicole coulda, shoulda said, hey, you're married, not doing it. I'm sure there are young girls that are that high in their own self-respect and their own confidence at that age. Sure, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but she didn't, and time went on. But do I feel like she was a bad person for that? No, because of the fact she was so young, and he was so powerful, so handsome, so dazzling, and all of this stuff. People sit back and try to kind of talk smack about her about it, but I feel like 90% of y'all would do the same damn thing. It would be very hard, you know, if you genuinely were attracted to the guy or the girl, whatever it was happening, and you genuinely started having feelings, and it came with all these bonuses. I mean, there's just like no way. It's like, you know, at that age. Now when we're older, I don't give a shit. There's not a lot I'm impressed by, really, unless it has heart and soul and it's authentic. I don't give a shit. I'll struggle it out on my own, regardless if I have to sell my soul for it or any more get involved in situations like that. When I was younger, I have to be able to admit my character defects and my faults and the things I'm ashamed of from my past if I'm to continue growing and be an authentic person making content or whatever. In my past, I'm not proud of that, but I was quite promiscuous. I was quite programmed a certain way coming from an abusive and traumatic home, and I was quite the little wild child in my teens, you know, preteens, teens, early 20s, but I kind of settled in pretty quick in my early 20s because I had my children. But I did a lot of things. I will not lie and say that there were not times in my teens and late teens that I wasn't with married people, that I did some things that I was not fucking proud of and had some attitude back then that I would not be proud of now. It is what it is, but I know that I'm a completely different person today and that I had a lot of growing to do. Now, I want to tell you guys, a narcissist, he got Nicole in his life, he got her under control just as he wanted. Now, as far as the people saying now the Browns just got OJ to pay for everything and they just kept him around to pay for stuff. And okay, let me tell you this. I don't know either way for sure. But I would imagine, I'm going to put it to you this way. I want to open your perspective, and I will never stop spreading awareness on this because I'm tired of narcissists getting away with it and the good people in their lives always having to look bad and be blamed for stuff that's not even anywhere near their character. As far as I know, Mr. Brown went on record and spoke about all of this, and he said that OJ did not pay for every single trip, every single vacation, every single thing. The Browns said they always paid their airfare and certain things for themselves. They did not just lay up and expect OJ to take care of everything. And Mr. Brown said the business that OJ helped him to start or gave him money towards really did not do so well. And that people can look at his tax returns and see, you know, what kind of money he was making off of that. So I really see the Browns as humble, honest, genuine people. I don't see them as people that really wanted to take advantage of OJ or their daughter or any of that. Okay? And I don't feel like their daughter did either. I really feel like Nicole Brown loved OJ. Just as much as I feel like Shanann loved Chris Watts, her husband, too. Yes, these men were controlling narcissists. And you can't see it as much with Chris Watts. People don't get it. They don't look at Chris and think controlling narcissist. But he is. He is the classic covert kind of narcissist. Covert, fragile, more codependent, more swervy and tricky, very manipulative about the way he goes about getting control of people so that he doesn't clearly look controlling. He wants to be careful of that. Very, under the radar. It's a whole other ballgame. But yes, controlling narcissists there too. And with OJ Simpson. So what these types will do oftentimes is, I've talked about this with Chris Watts too. Oftentimes they will give you things, overwhelm you with gifts, money. They will insist, I got this. I'm paying for dinner. I'm paying for the trip. Hey, I bought you this. Okay, in the case of OJ, I can just see it now. it's almost like it's insulting to them. And as a high-level narcissist, they at all times have to feel superior to everybody around them and in control. And they often do this. They often give you things and just lavish you, insist on paying for things, yada, yada, yada. And sometimes to the point where you just have to stop. You just have to get agitated with them or get real fucking firm. Hey, I got this for me. Because you start finding out how they are. And let me tell you something. They don't like it when you got you. They don't like it when people, especially a narcissistic man with a woman who is strong like that. But you got to understand, it's not that we're doing it because we don't enjoy being taken care of by our man sometimes. Or it's not that we're trying to be a bitch. It's that we have seen what they do when we let them take care of it. We've caught onto the game. Oftentimes a narcissist will do that. They will go so far as to make you almost feel guilty, like you have offended them, like you have hurt their feelings if you don't accept this gift, if you don't let me do this for you. Oh man, take this. I would love to do it for you. You know, a lot of times they will play those kinds of games and not let you pay for something, or, you know, whatever the situation is. And let me tell you something. You will find out that behind your back, oh my God, they will spin that shit on you so fast. Oftentimes you will never hear the end of what they gave you, how much they paid for around here. I've heard OJ ranting about it on television and in interviews, and you will never live it down if you accept gifts, money, or help from a high-level narcissist. Never. And not only that, after they've insisted, okay, now almost played your feelings into the ground, or get you to back down and accept their money, or accept their gift, or relax and accept their help. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. Because then you'll turn around and hear them in there in the other room on the phone with their mama. She spent all my money. Yeah, they just take and take and take from me. All these people just take and take and take from me. I'm telling ya, it's the most insane, bizarre, pathological, almost deranged thing you'll ever see and you'll ever witness. And you'll just be in shock, like, what? Are they serious right now? That fool just sat in here and insisted that I take that money. And made me feel like I was hurting their feelings because I wanted to do it myself. Because, see, we kind of catch on to them and we start backing off and being like, no, I got it. I'm good. Thank you, though. I thank you. I know you would love to help me. I appreciate you. You're good. But, hey, I got it, okay? You know, there were times that I could have used help. My partner was kind of like that. And God rest his soul, I loved him. But, you know, there were certain things going on with him that were just so traumatized and abnormal and even childlike at times. And, you know, there were times that I really could have used his help, that I would have loved to have just been able to relax and let my man take care of it, let him pay for it. And there were times he did. There were many times I accepted his money, and when I didn't have, he had, and he took care of mine. And when I didn't have it, I took care of his. But got to the point where I had to stop accepting things from him, and I would have anxiety attacks about do it all by myself. Got to do it all by myself. Got to do it all by myself. I could have really used his help. But the fact that I knew he was going to throw it in my face, that he was going to find any opportunity he could to tell his mother or other to play the victim. Narcissists love playing the victim, whether they're the grandiose narc or whether they're the covert, more hidden narc. They fucking have to play that victim. It's like a high that they get. They got to run between people, triangulating dramas and chaoses and getting reactions and playing the victim on all sides of things. It's almost like they get a high off of that pity. That is narcissistic supply. They need narcissistic fuel and supply in all ways and forms. okay? And yeah, they will do this, okay? And it's very hurtful. I could have used help from time to time. There was times I really needed it, but I knew what he was going to do. I knew that, he was, I was already going through hell, and I knew I was a good person. I didn't deserve that. And I knew that there was something wrong with his mind, and I loved him dearly, but there was something seriously wrong with his mind. Personality disorder or whatever that had never been treated. And, in his life, it was just, he just wasn't going to do it. And, but I knew that if I accepted any help whatsoever, I was going to fucking hear about it later on. Or I was going to hear him on the phone talking to family or whatever. Oh, yeah, she makes me pay for everything. And and I would hear him talk about friends that way too. He would go out, he got disability for the last few years of his life. And he would go out and blow that disability money, force it on people. I'm talking just throwing it around. And he would go around the poorest people, the people that were down and out or struggling or addicted or whatever, and flash that money around. Yeah, see, that's a way for people who feel powerless to kind of get power. And he would do that. Oh man, it's no big deal. Here, take it. I got it. They feel, see, in the moment, they want to get high and they want to, oh yeah, I'm spending. I feel great about it. And I look good in front of everybody and I feel good and I'm doing a good thing. And, everybody loves me for this right now. Everybody's happy with me. It's all about getting that ego fed, boosted. And a lot of it's sad. A lot of it goes back to their childhood. I felt really sad for my partner at times. I loved him so much. And I wish to God I could have helped him heal more. Instead of him going out and doing it in these toxic ways or spinning his wheels like that. But a lot of it is unmet needs from their childhood where somebody really made them feel empty and terrible. And, it really hurt me. But I knew that. I knew that's why he was doing things like that and that whole shit. So, but I would hear him talk about them the same way. They didn't know that. I sat back and, it's hard when you're the person who knows the narcissist the most, who knows them well. You are the romantic partner. You have been their partner for years. You're the one that's going to know the most. And you just have to kind of sit back and watch all of this betrayal unfolding. How they do their friends, how they do go out and chase new people and wrap them up in all these webs. And you just kind of have to sit back and watch it all happening. Knowing what they're doing, all the tricks, all the mind games, what they're doing to all those people, what it's all about. Once you've separated with them or whatever the case is. And it's horrible. It makes you mad. It pisses you off. It breaks your heart. It gives you all kinds of damn feelings. But there's really not much you can do about it. And oftentimes they are out there smearing your name too. Anything to get that ego boost. And yes, that is heartbreaking. It broke my heart. But sometimes he would do that. Sometimes I was the greatest thing in the world. And that's what people heard. They heard my name all the time. Oh, we've heard how much he loves you. And he was always talking about you, Tam. And I knew that. He and I really did love each other, but there were some severe issues, okay? And so I just want to put that out there. I know the video got a little bit long. It was supposed to be a quick video. They will do this, okay? And so he would talk like that. He would throw some of that disability money around and his money around and let his friends just eat it right up and pay for their food or their drugs or whatever the fuck ever, with no setting boundaries for himself, no control for himself. Chris Watts was a lot like this. Relate that back to that. Very similar there. Chris Watts, I believe he was doing some of the same things with Shanann. Not putting boundaries down, not controlling himself, impulse control, flashing it and giving it and insisting on it and pushing it on people. And sometimes act like feelings hurt if you don't take it. But then turning it on you, throwing it in your face and telling everybody that you, horrible, spending all my money, they just want to take from me and that's all they want to do. And I can see the craziness of all that. That shit is just crazy to me. And it's like, whoa, Okay. But he would come back talking about his friends like that. Like, oh man, since we've been apart, that's all they do is just take my money. That's all they do is just take from me and take from me. But come to find out, well, hell yeah, he was going around people that were fucking homeless and penniless and addicted. And of course they're going to fucking take it. If you go around flaunting it, which he did, and you go around, wanting to get that fix for your ego real quick. Hey, I got this. No, I insist you take it. But then what a narcissist will do is they will come down off that ego high. That's what I was trying to convey earlier. In the moment, they're all good about it. Feel good about it. I'm high. It's getting me high. It's getting me an ego boost. Later on, when they come down and all their fucking money's gone, or they realize how much they've spent, or they're not getting their way with whoever they gave the money to, or whatever's going wrong, and they come down off that ego high, oh, they resent the shit out of you. Now it's smearing your name. That's all they do is come after me for money. They just want my fucking money all the time. They're just doing me so wrong. They will play the victim in any situation, and they love to do it. So I just want to put that out there and make that real clear, okay? That is a way for me in this world to, I don't have to be raging and I don't have to be angry anymore. I was angry for a lot of years. I went through a lot of pain and sorrow and things with my partner and just different situations in my life. Even though I had a lot of love for him too, but I don't have to feel that way anymore for my own sanity and my own health. But one thing I can do, to help heal that shit, a lot of things I went through, and to counteract what the narcissist is out there doing and how they just love to get away with it. They think they got everybody fooled and they're so damn superior because of it. Oh, they feel real superior, when they're pulling all these strings and causing all this chaos and nobody really knows their real personality. And they think that's big shit. They feel real superior with that. But just keep that in mind, guys. Anytime you see a case or a story or, a situation where, we know it's a narcissist, we know their crime, or we know what they've done, and then people are sitting back saying, oh, that was just bullshit. A narcissist will always try to project their crime, deflect, project, blame, shift. They will always try to project that shit off onto somebody else and scapegoat anybody and everybody around them. It's going down with them. Oftentimes they want to take people with them. Yep. And they will make everybody they can look bad. I mean, we've already seen this. We've listened to OJ ranting and raving, calling into the news stations and going off on folks, and we've seen his body language and his straining demeanor. We've seen that jaw. How does he do it? I can't even do it right now, but you know how when a person really clenches that jaw, and they'll be sitting there trying to talk in one voice and make it be real calm, but every time between questions of him trying to project that he was being calm and sincere, that fucking jaw would just be grinding, boy. I'm sorry, I'm very perceptive that way. I can read energy like a motherfucker. I love that shit. I study that shit. And that's a whole other video, but I think that's fascinating. Oftentimes people who grew up in childhood trauma, whether they choose to use these abilities for good or evil, or good or bad, good or toxic, positive or toxic, whatever direction they choose to go, oftentimes people who grew up in a lot of childhood trauma, abuse, craziness, violence, chaos, cruelty, neglect, whatever it was, oftentimes they have like a fucking sixth sense. They have like these extra psychic abilities, the ability to read energy. Most of them are very highly tuned into their intuitive abilities, and almost some ESP type shit, and people don't like it. People do not. But I will make a video like that, about that at some point. I think it's extraordinary. It's crazy. I mean, but it's the truth. I know it's that way with me and a lot of other folks that I know that have been raised in trauma. But it also has to do with psychological wiring and just basically what's in our damn DNA from our ancestors. You know, back in the day, our ancestors, we, you know, had to be very tuned in and smell things and, you know, protect themselves from wild animals. And they had to be very, very hyper vigilant, hyper alert to look for, scan everything for threats. Okay. And so oftentimes, even today, even though we're highly evolved now and technology's evolved and collective consciousness has evolved, sometimes just that old primal instinct shit is still in a lot of us. To, you know, read people, to instinctively look for the threats in people. It's not that we want to be mean or dwelling on something or always focused on bad folks or drawn to that or nothing. But yeah, a lot of times we are wired to scan for the threats. You know, that's some old ancient shit. And it is what it is, but that's another day. But yeah, I hope you got something out of this, you guys. And just please remember, you know, when reading through any case, or you know that basically the person in the middle of all the shit, the crime story or the case or whatever the hell it is, the circumstance or the relationship, you know that main person is a narcissist. They have done things that have really, really hurt people and stepped over the line. And oftentimes, yes, they're going to do their best to blame every fucking thing. And, you know, that's what they love. They love for the public, the family, the friends. They love for them to speculate. The more bullshit that the narcissist can make up and smear your name with and get the public's head rolling and get them yakking and talking and, oh, it was probably this and it was probably that. And, oh, they were just using and blah, blah, blah. I've seen it too many times. It's like the Watts case, the Simpson case. There's a fucking 1,000 other cases. I've seen it in my own life. Guys, a lot of the time when there's a narcissist involved, basically everybody around that person is a good, decent, loving, self-aware human being who loves them, who is trying to be fair with them and just go right on with life and enjoy life in a humble way. Ain't nobody even doing nothing to them, not abusing them, not emasculating them, not trying to suck up all their money. A great deal of the time where there's a highly narcissistic man involved, ain't nobody doing shit to him. Not shit, but being too good, being too full of light and too full of life, and just refusing to put up with his shit finally at one point or another. And the narcissist doesn't like that. They don't like losing control. They don't like all of that. That just triggers the shit out of them. And, you know, but I'll get into that later in an OJ and Nicole video. And don't get me wrong, this isn't gender specific. There are a lot of narcissistic women out there who have good men. They have really great husbands, and they are tormenting their husband's life to death, cheating on him, and yes, just spending up his fucking money and taking him for granted. Do not think for 1 second this is gender specific or that I'm looking at it that way. I am not, okay? And I don't like that kind of thing either. And I want to call awareness to all people like that, so that hopefully going forward, we can all learn something and we can all change and grow and prevent shit like this. Because I know how painful it is, because I lived through it. I still miss my partner every day of my life, though. I loved him very deeply. But he had some serious issues. But just remember that, guys, okay? Narcissists will throw it on you. They will, and they're so devious about this. That's the part I can't stand. Is when people are devious about shit like that. No, now wait a minute. You know damn well it did not go like that. I didn't beg you for that. I didn't hustle you for that. I didn't hound you and harass. I didn't even ask for the shit. You gave it to me. And basically hounded and hustled me into taking it. So it wouldn't hurt your little pride and ego. They play games like that, make you believe you're hurting their feelings and yada yada. Come to find out, they're talking shit about you and how much you spent, how much you take. And it's like, It's like they feel such lack of importance. It's almost funny sometimes if I didn't feel sorry for them, because I know it comes from their childhood and such emptiness. It would almost be funny to see a grown motherfucker do stuff like that. But I know where it comes from, and I am bad about, or good about, however you want to look at it, seeing the child in people. Seeing the wounded child in other human beings. I see it, and I feel for it very deeply. But when it comes to crossing the line into spousal abuse, taking people's lives, ruining their lives, psychological abuse, control, horrible things like that, fuck that. I draw the line at that, and I cannot empathize. At that point, I don't give a damn what happened in your childhood. Tough shit. You have a responsibility to deal with those wounds and those issues. But y'all get what I'm saying. Sometimes they take it to a level where it almost be funny. That they feel such lack of importance that they got to create all these games and literally just make up fucking issues where there weren't any. Oh yeah, she spent all my money and they're just coming after me all the time, wanting my money. And you're just looking at them like, is this motherfucker kidding? Ain't nobody come after them. Nobody came after you. Holy shit. And you kind of see how psycho they really get. It's like, now a man in the position of OJ Simpson had a lot of money, and I'm sure he did have folks coming at him and did this, that, and the other. All the more reason why he can get stuff over on people's minds, because it is very possible that, yes, sometimes people did come at him and come for him, and I want this and I want that, and I need to take it and get to the doing and that. That's why it can be so hard to pin narcissists down, because sometimes they're telling the truth. Sometimes there are things happening to the narcissist that shouldn't be or that are unfair. But a lot of times it's not happening. Ain't nobody doing shit to them. Nothing but being good, fair, decent, loyal, and loving to them. And they fuck it up. They sabotage it. So, all right, guys. I'm going to go because this is too long. Thank you for watching. I'll have some more content up for you soon. I hope you guys got something out of this. And I'll see you in the next one.